What's going on, everybody? Josh Engleman for Awesemo.com, and I am back with my NBA DFS contenders on DraftKings for Friday, April 23rd. Now be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when this and all of our other content goes live. Follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman so you can get updates to those sim results as we get closer to lock. And finally, let me know in the comment section who is your favorite and least favorite of my contenders for today's slate. We are rounding out the bottom of my top 10 with Will Barton, Raul Neto, Jason Tatum, Darius Bazley, and Paul George on the outside looking in, who will be the favorites, my top 5 plays for today. It is time to find out. First up at number 5, we're going to the center spot. We're grabbing $4,900 Tristan Thompson. He's projected for 31. The goal is 39. He's in the optimal lineup 27% of the time. Now, I don't think we're going to see Kemba Walker on the back-to-back for rest. Jaylen Brown is questionable, and I am leaning towards him being out. Not that that has a ton to do with Tristan Thompson's minutes, but he's been playing north of 30, and I think he does it again. 31 minutes for Thompson, 0.99 fantasy points per minute. And then you get just normal rates, 18% usage, 13 points, 10.5 boards, so a double-double right out of the gate. He's more than 50-50 to get a double-double in this spot and get that double-double bonus. That's big. 2 assists, a stock and a half, pace neutral spot against Brooklyn, but Brooklyn's defense is terrible. They don't have any centers that are really a problem. He's better than DeAndre Jordan. All signs point to him being a fantastic value play. Now, there are a bunch of centers on this slate, but at 4,900, since you can play more than one of them, I don't mind grabbing Tristan Thompson and getting that value. Speaking of centers on this slate, you can pay all the way up at center for my number 4, NIKOLA JOKIC. He's 10,900, projected for 58. The goal is 60, and he is in the optimal lineup 27% of the time. This should not take a lot of convincing. No Jamal Murray, no Monty Morris, which means NIKOLA JOKIC simultaneously plays point guard and center for this team. 35 minutes, 1.67 fantasy points per minute, 33% usage. 30 real points, 10.5 boards, almost 8 assists and 2 stocks in a huge pace up spot. They're taking on Golden State. It's one of the 5 fastest teams in the league. They gained 2.7 possessions over their average just by taking on the Warriors. It really doesn't get much better than this for Jokic. He's well worth a 10-9 price tag. His floor is incredibly high. The only way that he doesn't have like a really high floor is if he gets hurt. Please God, don't let that happen. I want him to get that MVP award. But seriously, if you are paying up today, there is no reason to look elsewhere than NIKOLA JOKIC. And in order to get to Jokic, you're going to need to pay down somewhere, and number 3, point guard Brandon Goodwin is the place to do it. He's 3,400, projected for 25. The goal's 34. He's in the optimal lineup 30% of the time. We're going to be without Trae Young in Atlanta for today. They have like countless other injuries. Reddish, Hunter. Who else am I missing? A lot of guys. Gallo is questionable. Clint Capella is questionable. Brandon Goodwin's just going to play big minutes. I can't even think. Chris Dunn is still out. Still hasn't even played. It's craziness. So I gave Brandon Goodwin 30 minutes. I think that's a safe bet. 0.83 fantasy points per minute. Not a crazy rate. 19% usage, 11 points, 5 assists, 3 boards. Now it's a terrible matchup. Facing Miami is about as bad as it gets in DFS. They lose 3 possessions over their average, but that doesn't really matter. I expect Brandon Goodwin to start, and you rarely get 0.8 fantasy point per minute guys playing 30 minutes in a starting role at 3,400. He will be a value play all day, barring his news as a starter. If he's not a starter, he's still a value play. It's just not that efficient of a starter play. But all day, you will see Brandon Goodwin in the top 5 of these rankings. Playing Brandon Goodwin at point guard allows you to get to someone like NIKOLA JOKIC. The value is too big to ignore. Goodwin is fantastic today. As is another pay down point guard, $3,600 Armoni Brooks, projected for 26, goals 34.5, and he is in the optimal lineup 33% of the time. Now, Brooks got the start in the last time for Houston. I expect it to happen again. No Kevin Porter Jr. We know Sterling Brown's still out. They've got like 27 other injuries. Daniel House is actually back, but most of their minutes right now are bunched up into the 3, 4, and the 5. They don't have a lot in the backcourt. So I think Brooks continues to see that start and continues to see that minutes. And I think that he can actually play more than this. But 0.81 fantasy points per minute, 18% usage, 12.5 points, 5 boards, 3 assists, a steal. It's a pace down spot against the Clippers. It's a tough matchup. All of those signs are true. But again, the same as Goodwin. This is a guy that I expect to start, play north of 30 minutes at a relatively reasonable fantasy point per minute rate, and he's priced at 3,600. These are the two guys that you use to get to the NIKOLA Jokic, Paul George, Jason Tatum type guys. Don't overthink it. Brooks and Goodwin are as good a value as you're going to find today. Now, before we get to that number one contender, one last reminder, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and then hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Then head on over to Twitter and follow me at Josh Engleman. It's the only place that you can get the updates to my sim results as we get closer to lock. Finally, let me know in the comment section. I want your favorite contender, your least favorite contender, and the guy that you think should be on this list that you do not see. All right, this one's exciting. Number one contender for today, center eligible JUSUF NURKIC. He is 5,200, projected for 35. The goal's 40. He's in the optimal lineup 37% of the time. We saw JUSUF NURKIC, his last time out, play 29 minutes, which means that JUSUF NURKIC can play 29 minutes. This is something that Portland will want. I'm giving him those 29 minutes again. I actually think that there's small upside for 30 or 31 here, but this is the guy that's going to make everything run for Portland. If JUSUF NURKIC can be on the floor for 30 or more minutes for this team, he can turn them into a better defense and a functional team in the playoffs. Without Nurkic, they're in some trouble. But for right now, 29 minutes, 1.2 fantasy points per minute, 20% usage. That's 13 points and 10 boards. So right out of the gate, we've got him at a double-double. 4 assists, you get 1.2 steals and 1.2 blocks, so 2.5 stocks. Pace up spot against Memphis, and this is a Memphis team that does not have Joval. Nurkic is a big dude, a lot bigger than Tillman, a lot bigger than Brandon Clark. This matchup looks fantastic. I love it. I think Nurkic is back, and at 29 minutes, at 5,200, JUSUF NURKIC is the number one contender for today's slate. Alrighty, folks, that will do it. Those are my NBA DFS contenders on DraftKings for Friday, April 23rd. Process show is in the books, and it's a good one. You should go check it out. FanDuel version of this video is around here somewhere, and I'm on the strategy show at 10 a.m. with Lofty breaking down all 7 games. And then that's it. Nothing for me for the rest of the day. No live before lock. Nothing on Saturday. I'll be back again on Sunday for the strategy show. So, good luck tonight, everybody. Please enjoy your weekend. I will see you guys again on Monday morning for another edition of the Contenders.